Hey guys, Enchanting Gaming here. In this video I want to go over slabs, their grade values, and then also PSA pop reports. Now starting with this iconic Mickey, we can see a total PSA pop of 474, which there of course is other grading companies out there we're not taking into account, but with PSA being the biggest, we're just going to go with this number, add a little bit to it of course. Now there's also, of course, going to be more Mickeys going to grading or coming back soon. So by the end of 2026, we should have a rough estimate of what the actual total pop number is going to be. So we don't have too long to wait on that, just a little bit more. And that's, of course, as long as if Ravensburger doesn't do some reprint on Fabled, which I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that right now. They could, if Mickey keeps just going up crazy in price in the short term here. Other than that, I don't see why they would. But, keeping that out of the equation for now, I just wanted to show you guys the Mickey iconic in comparison to some Pokemon card populations like the Umbreon, which also isn't that old of a card either, but you're looking at it around $5,000, and it's a pop of 16,500. So definitely printed more than the Mickey iconic, since Fabled was not that wide of a printed set compared to other sets, and especially compared to Pokemon in general. You already have 5,000 PSA 10 Umbreons, so there's just so much upside to not just the Mickey iconic, just to all the iconics and a lot of enchanteds as well. Lorcana, I mean, for people that have been around for like a year or more, like we have had this belief that Lorcana is going to do well, and we've seen that over the last month and a half here, and we've seen what's coming in the future, which looks to be pretty bright in this Pixar set and everything else, coming down the pipes. So it most definitely, in my opinion, you'll see the Mickey iconic and a lot of those other cards really jump in value in the years to come. And I mean, you look at Charizard here, first edition, total pop of 5,400, which there's only 125 tens, sure, but you're talking about a card that's worth 100,000 plus, and even the eights and nines of this card is worth tens of thousands of dollars. So that kind of rolls into my next thing I wanted to go over is it's actually not even that bad to pick up a PSA 9 of this Mickey iconic or mini or any iconic really. Some of the enchanteds, like Double Sword Genie is a huge one in my opinion. That will be pretty great value wise as a 9 even. And most of you guys know that card was one that was not supposed to actually be printed. It was supposed to only have the single sword, so they fixed that in the second print run. So there's not many double swords out there. It's actually the most rare first chapter enchanted card. So most definitely has, in my opinion, a better value to it than even the Elsa enchanted from first chapter. But yeah, I think you give it time here. Hold on to those nines, which you can get fairly cheap right now. There was PSA 9 sold April 5th for 1,300. I mean, if you just hold on to that for X amount of years, you could probably see this in the 10,000 plus range for certain. Just depends, in all honesty, what your goals are, how much money you have, what are you able to achieve. Now, when it comes to actual grading companies, like, yeah, PSA is the king for certain, at least right now, and for the foreseeable future. But in my opinion, I prefer Beckett 10s and CGC pristine 10s over PSA 10s. And I think there's a bit of people that also have that belief as well. Personally, I think they should be worth more, and they actually, I think, look better than a actual PSA slab. I just think the Beckett's and CGC pristine 10s look better, and I even think the tags look better. They're just that nice, clear, crisp cleanness to them. And in regards to tag, I do think that AI is going to be the future in terms of grading. Why would you not want to have both AI and a human looking at your card? PSA has ran into so much controversy with human graders. Just did they have a good day today or not, affecting what your card grade comes out to be. And then, like recently here, there were posts about over in Japan where people had been putting cash in with their cards, hoping the graders would, give them better grades because of that. Which I'm not actually sure the graders themselves open the boxes. There might be someone before them that does that. And I'm sure that stuff's been going on in the US plenty too. I don't know. It's anyone's guess how much that's actually occurred and affected grading. With that, and then PSA's whole controversy with swapping cards out and selling them to make themselves, tens of thousands of dollars, PSA damaging cards, and just all this other nonsense. It definitely puts a dent in their company just from the view of everyone sending out to grading. And I think, CGC and Tag can capitalize on that. Also, PSA has gotten so pricey. Like, I've done just this past month my first two submissions, one to Beckett, one to PSA. And Beckett was most definitely cheaper. PSA, I think, was like $33 a card for the cheapest, but then you could get upcharged if you send in, say, a very valuable card like Mickey Iconic. And it's just like, to me, it's kind of crazy when you can get a lot cheaper grading done by like CGG, Tag, Beckett, and in my opinion, a CGC 10 and Beckett 10 are worth more than a PSA 10 anyway. Maybe it's a little bit harder to get graded a 10 by them than it is a PSA. So you gotta, calculate your risks depending on how your card looks, of course, but I just think these other companies are going to become a lot more popular. And there's a little fun fact too, like with Tag, I found out here Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, is a board member there. There's not that means a whole lot, but I just thought that was an interesting thing. And then even Ken Golden talking on Tag. He's publicly endorsed Tag grading, citing its role in modernizing card authentication and praising its transparency and technology-driven approach. While Golden previously launched Grading with Golden in partnership with PSA in 2022, recent industry coverage highlights his recognition of Tag's automated grading system and its growing adoption by major influencers like Deep Pocket Monster, big YouTuber, and Roth Cards. So there's just going to be, the slow future move towards these other grading companies, in my opinion. I don't think tag's gonna be seen as less popular. I think you're fine picking up any of these other three companies cards in comparison to PSA. You just gotta hold them for a little bit potentially, but I don't think the value difference is gonna be all that much of a difference years down the line here. But yeah, with that, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.